Week 34 is on elderly matters. Okay, it's just to go through the first portion here for awareness. I grouped it under forming responses. You can look through the marking rubrics again, okay, and what's required and the allocation of marks for the PRQ and the spoken interaction. Then from there, I will move to the vocabulary list to express an opinion at the back here. Okay, usually these are just ways for students to confidently start on their points and to transit to other points in their response. I will just get them to choose like about 3, okay, and tell them when you're presenting or in your recording, I would like to see a variation of this. Okay, so that one is just like a 5 minutes, get them to choose. Next, I want to go through the 5 tips to tackle O-level plan response. This is an additional resource in the Google Drive as well. Okay, is to go through the different tips, how to do the plan response. Okay, it's all like in bullet points here. If you want, you can get like your students to share with you the kind of struggles that they may have faced during their school oral exams first, okay, before you dive into this. But again, it's only going to take like 5 minutes. For content-wise, to introduce the topic for elderly matters, here. Okay, so I will start off with a question, a prompt. Why does the elderly population matter in Singapore? Whether or not they are Singaporeans or international students, tell them like today's content is all focused on Singapore as a society. On the front page here, I'm only looking for 2 keywords. One, are they aware that Singapore's population is aging? And what are the like things that we need to do, okay, as a country to promote active aging? Okay, for the 3 questions, when you're breaking down the 2 different stands, I will introduce the key arguments. Today's question number 1 is very focused on content. It's focused on the CPF scheme itself, okay, and the drawbacks. Question 1 will be a demonstration, okay, and then we'll move on to question 3, followed by question 2. I believe the key highlight and takeaway for this lesson is actually question 3. It feels more relatable to the students. For this one, I'll do it at the end of the class just to get them to break down the scare for the 2 different stands. Are they aware of what are the 2 opposing stands? For key vocabulary, here. Okay, again, it is to demonstrate like you understand the topic, okay, and you have a wide vocab bank in order to discuss it. I focus in on 2 points, ageism and age in place. Okay, one is for the employment, elderly at the workplace, and the age in place is to get them to think about elderly living alone in Singapore. Okay, there's a video here. I let you choose when you want to play it, okay? But it gets them to understand, especially students who don't live with elderly at home. They may not know, okay, of the kind of like difficulties that they face and what the country is doing for them as well. Key information, I've highlighted key points. It's about how to get them to remember the statistics. I won't go through every single one, just the highlighted points. Articles, I'll be going through a few, but I'm zooming in on the evidences itself, okay, and getting students to how to like remember the numbers, okay? It all ties back to like Singapore's aging population and what the government policies are like. This one, I would prefer if it's a silent reading so that they can better understand the elderly living alone in Singapore, the kind of struggles they face, and the kind of support available at a community level. It ties into the video that I want to show. You can play it at this point or later when you're discussing the question. This one is another evidence for them to add into the question. Okay, this last article is key to go through because it ties into our prompt question at the start. Why does the elderly population matter in Singapore? Break down different points just to get them to understand that the elderly is also a precious resource in Singapore. The order of the questions is question 1, demonstrate. I will do it in 2 steps. I will abbreviate the key points, okay, in the table here on one side, and then I will demonstrate how it translates to a spoken interaction in full response. I made use of this to break down like a summarized point, explanation, and evidence. Okay. Question 1 is very topic based. It's either the students know what CPF is or they completely have no idea. So for this, you may need to simplify into like layman terms. Then from there, we'll jump to question 3. For question 3, the students are tasked to do just the abbreviated writing. You can guide them through the scare points here. For students to add in personal experiences, I would link it to their school's VIA, okay, for them to find out like what did they observe at elder care facilities, what kind of activities did they do, okay, when they visit the like nursing homes. This question, if time permits, you can pick a few students to present in class, okay? So again, you can walk around the class and just like see whose answers are more holistic. Question 2 is for them to do as homework. This one has a lot more writing techniques included. So I put in 2 parts for them to add in personal response and quote as a hook, okay, and some references to the articles so that they know what to add in. I would want the students to record this question, are the elderly a burden on society, as homework and submit, whether it's Google Classroom or Telegram. Okay, then you assess and provide feedback. Okay, for this, the personal experience, you can word it in a different manner, but I want them to relate to the elderly and the kind of like speed that they are learning at when it comes to digitalization. Because the counter argument is focused solely on elderly employees, you can bring back the point of ageism, like a sort of biasness, okay, that maybe elderly employees may face at work. All these like little points here is for explanation, because some students, they get really stumped when talking about elderly. Either like they don't have any close experiences with them, or they're just like completely shut off about this part of the population. Then from there, here. You can run through the personal response question techniques again, okay, like what to look out for, exam techniques, copying out the question on the paper. Abbreviations, I leave it to my students to do it quite independently, okay. Presentation skills, I do get them to like be careful about the reading voice versus presenting voice, because now they have the paper in front of them. Scare techniques, just 4 key points, okay, to end off this whole oral workshop, okay, to focus on the scare, making use of evidences to support the points, adding in personal experience in a relevant manner, so it's like a mini piece in their responses, and the use of quotes as hook. For elderly matters, I only picked out 1 quote. Yeah, that's all.